Hello guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Unique Items. Today we're going to be looking at a rather interesting item. It's a rather pretty item too. It's called Corpsemourn. Corpsemourn is not really the greatest item in the world, but it does offer something that most other items don't have. And when we go over the item, I think you'll understand what I mean. So right off the bat, you'll notice that it is an Ornate plate, which is an exceptional level item. It has 1,262 defense on it, which is relatively high. It has 170 strength requirement, which is also relatively high. And it has a level requirement of 55. It has 6% chance to cast level 2 Iron Maiden, which is negligible in damage. At level 2, it's really not even going to be returning that much damage to the enemy. We're talking about like a 200 to 225% damage return, which is being modified, by the way, in PTR. I don't even think it does that specifically anymore. It also applies thorns damage. And the unfortunate thing about this is that it will actually overwrite other curses. So if you have anything like amplified damage or life tap or other things that are running, and you get struck and this goes off, it will overwrite your life tap, and it might very well get you killed. It does do 12 to 36 fire damage, which is added straight to your attack. It has 8 strength on it, and it has 10 vitality. The strength is kind of mocking because, of course, you know, if you're wearing this, it's probably your highest strength item anyway. It has 35 to cold resistance on it, which is rather odd. Just 35% cold resistance, nothing else. And it has level 5 corpse explosion charges, 40 of them. Now, what does this actually do? Well, it allows you to explode corpses, quite literally. So if I was, I don't know, let's go somewhere where there's a high density. Canyon of the Magi usually has a very high density. Let's go take a poke around Canyon of the Magi. So if you were in Canyon of the Magi and you were killing monsters, and you had the monsters' corpses, you could potentially switch to Corpse Explosion, and you could utilize Corpse Explosion to help kill you some monsters. And as you can see here, I can explode some corpses, and it does pretty massive amounts of damage. The reason why Corpse Explosion does very well, no matter what character is using it, is because it is a percentage-based damage. Percentage-based damage doesn't care about the monster's health, because it's actually using the monster's health as a catalyst to dish out the damage. So if you are, for instance, a paladin, a barbarian, a necromancer, a druid, it doesn't even really matter. Corpse Explosion is going to do pretty much the same amount of damage on all characters. Now, at level 5, Corpse Explosion, of course, has a specific radius. So the radius of Corpse Explosion goes up with the level. At level 5, it's going to have a pretty decent radius, and it's actually going to hit pretty far away from where you explode. So at level 5, we're looking at a 4-yard radius, which is much better than, of course, level 1, which is 2.6 yards. 2.6 yards is like minimum range, like dagger or something. But a 4-yard radius is like something like a pike. Like attacking in a pike's range, which is a fairly large radius in a circle around the explosion. And you're going to hit just about everybody within that radius. It can actually be really effective to use this. But let's take a look and see how much money it costs to repair, shall we? So we're looking at 13,653 to repair the charges. Not bad. Let's go ahead and burn all the charges real quick, and we'll look and see what the full cost is, because why not? I'll let my my merc do the killing, because I know I have a frost effect on my weapon, which will kill the corpses, which is, of course, a downside. You definitely don't want to be destroying the corpses if you're using this particular item. Alright, there we go. So now my corpse explosions have been completely eliminated. So let's see how much it costs to restore the full 40 charges on the Corpsemourn breastplate, or Ornate plate, shall we? So 36,408, not bad at all, quite honestly. That's actually relatively cheap, and I could totally see utilizing this on a character for quick clears. If you're unaware, if you're like a single target damage character, like maybe you're a Vengeance Paladin or something like that, you do massive amount of damage, but you only do, you only kill like one monster at a time. Corpse Explosion can be an amazing thing to help speed up your clear time, and having it on a non-necromancer is just amazing. Now, of course, you also have an ethereal version of this, which has 1,892 defense, but unfortunately the charges cannot be repaired on this, so it has to be taken as it is. Now, these can be upgraded one tier to the Sacred Armor. And unfortunately, it's not a good upgrade because Sacred Armor tends to have an extremely high strength requirement. But we're going to go ahead and do it anyway, because that's what we love to do on these videos, is we upgrade these items, and we take a look and see what they are for, what they go to, even if it's not a good thing, right? So, first we're going to upgrade the Corpsemourn Ornate plate in the non-ethereal form, and we're going to need a Lamico and a Perfect Diamond. And that's going to go from 1,262 defense, 170 strength, and level 55 to 1,386, 232 strength, level 73. So as you can see, not a good upgrade there from tier 2 to tier 3. It didn't even really upgrade that much in the defense category. We have the ethereal version, which is 1,892, 160 strength at level 55. To 2,489, 222 strength, and level 73. Now that defense on the ethereal version is actually really high, and it could make an interesting stopgap measure to give your mercenary a really high amount of defense early on. Not to mention the Iron Maiden could potentially help him, a little bit, as well as the extra strength. But unfortunately, 222 strength is extremely high, and your mercenary is going to have to be like level 93 for him to be able to equip this, or utilizing a lot of plus strength equipment, which kind of puts this in the kind of the bad category. All in all, I don't really think that the Corpsemourn is that kind of armor that needs to be upgraded. It just doesn't really upgrade very well. I was also kind of sad when I started Diablo 2, and they didn't really give Corpsemourn a unique, sort of appearance. I was really hoping for that black and gold sort of appearance on the armor, and they kind of did it, I guess, but it just wasn't really as pronounced as I guess I thought it would be, especially since they left a lot of the brown in there. They should have taken everything that wasn't black and made it gold, so that it really kind of popped, but they didn't really quite bother. All in all, Corpsemourn is one of those odd pieces of armor that really just kind of functions well in the non-ethereal form. You really want to just utilize those corpse explosions. It doesn't really cost that much money. Those corpse explosions will actually speed up your combat considerably, because corpse explosion, of course, does 70 to 120% of the monster's HP and damage. It functions on physical and fire damage, so it's 50% physical and 50% fire damage, and it can be used to bypass physical immunes. There is a lot of very interesting uses for Corpse Explosion. You could take it to the cow level, and you could have fun blowing things up in the cow level for very fast cow runs. You could, of course, combine this with the new ability, which has only just come out, which is Grim Ward, which increases physical damage by 120%, and that would, of course, increase the Corpse Explosion by 120%. So it would be a very fast way to clear some particular monsters. All in all, Corpsemourn breastplate or ornate plate is an interesting plate, and unfortunately it does have some downsides, but it does have a very nice upside as well, which is being able to spam Corpse Explosion on a non-necromancer character. As always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos. And before I forget, let's go over and let's take a look and see where we could potentially find this if we wanted to over on Silo's Pen. Before I forget, I was about to forget. So let's take a look here. We've got Corpsemourn. Where are you at, Corpsey? So we're probably going to be a relatively high-level character looking for this item, so let's assume at least 150% magic find. And let's take a look at bosses first. And it does look like that our highest percent chances are in Hell difficulty, so Hell Mephisto, Hell Diablo, Hell Bale. Not a lot of monsters in Nightmare difficulty at all, pretty much. Doesn't even look like Nightmare Bale could drop this item. But we do have some rank defilers at Nightmare, which are really high chances. Let's take a look at super uniques real quick. And sort those by probability. So we are looking at, Bone Ash in Hell difficulty, and the Cathedral has a 1 in 10,000. That's actually not a bad chance for Bone Ash. He's actually a really easy monster to get to over and over again. You can just go to Inner Cloister Waypoint and kill him repeatedly. He's always next to the Cathedral altar. Dark Elder is also always in Lost City. He's usually by the Ancient Tunnels entrance, but not always. Beetle Burst is also always in Far Oasis, so another interesting good choice there in Hell difficulty. It does look like this is going to be a Hell difficulty farm if you wanted this particular item. Shank can apparently drop it, Doc Farron, Pindle Skin, Thresh Socket, pretty sure Eldritch is probably on this list too. That's an interesting one there, Rockanishu. So Rockanishu has a really good chance of dropping a Harlequin Crest Shaco. So this might be a good choice in Hell difficulty to farm Rockanishu and Treehead Woodfist, and also have a pretty good chance of getting yourself a Harlequin Crest while you're at it. So not a bad choice there. I would definitely prefer to have Harlequin Crest over something else, for instance. As always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, and keep watching.